I am here to share a story from my life that carries the heartbeat of our struggle against apartheid. This tale, The Hidden School, Learning Freedom in the Shadows, is about how we kept the flame of education alive during the darkest days of oppression, even behind prison walls and in secret township classrooms. I'll tell it with warmth and reflection, as if we're in a podcast studio, ensuring it's engaging and clear for those unfamiliar with South Africa's history. For context, I was born in 1918 in Mvizo, South Africa. Apartheid, enforced from 1948, was a brutal system that segregated people by race, denying black South Africans rights to vote, own land, or study freely. I joined the African National Congress Inc. to fight this injustice, but by 1964, I was serving a life sentence on Robben Island for sabotage, after peaceful protests were crushed, like the 1960 Sharpeville massacre, where 69 unarmed people were killed. This story is about educationer's secret weapon against apartheid and a young teacher named Sipho, whose courage in the 1970s mirrored our efforts in prison. Let's begin in 1970 on Robben Island, where I and comrades like Walter Sisulu were confined. The prison was harsh cells, hard labor in a lime quarry, meager food. The apartheid regime banned education for black prisoners, fearing it would radicalize us, but we saw knowledge as freedom. We started a secret school, what we called the University of Robben Island. During breaks, we'd huddle in the quarry, pretending to rest, while one of us lectured on history or economics, using smuggled books hidden in cell corners. I taught about the ANC Freedom Charter, whispering its vision of equality. Once, a guard caught us, but we claimed we were discussing the Biblia lie that saved us a beating. Those lessons kept our minds sharp, our spirits unbroken. Now, let's shift to Soweto in 1973, where Sipho, a young teacher in his 20s, enters our story. Sipho's not an ANC member, just a man who loves books, teaching in a cramped school under the Bantu Education Act, which forced black students into inferior schools designed to keep them subservient. Sipho hated ethics books, glorified apartheid, and classrooms lacked desks. Inspired by stories of our resistance, which he heard at township meetings, he began a secret night school in his aunt's backyard shack. He taught history the regime banned, our kings like Shaka Zulu, the ANC founding in 1912, even my 1964 trial speech, which called for democracy. His students, teenagers and adults, crowded in by candlelight, risking arrest. One evening, Sipho shared a smuggled copy of my letter from Robben Island, urging education as resistance. A student, a girl named Lindu, asked, "How do you learn when you're afraid?" Sipho answered, "Fear is real, but knowledge is power." That night, police raided Soweto, searching for subversives. Sipho hid his books under floorboards, and his students scattered. Lindu was caught but refused to betray him, enduring a night in detention. Her courage reminded Sipho of the women who marched against pass laws in 1956, a protest ID admired before prison. Back on Robben Island, we heard of these township schools through new prisoners. Their stories fueled our own lessons. In 1976, when the Soweto Uprising erupted, students protesting Afrikaans in schools we knew our prison classes had echoed outward. Sipho's school grew bolder after the uprising, moving to a church basement. He taught more students, some joining the ANC underground. One night, a former student, now a courier, brought Sipho a message. Madiba says, "Keep teaching." It was a moment of connection of prison school and Sipho's shack, linked by a shared dream. By 1982, when I was moved to Palsmore prison, Sipho faced a raid. Police burned his books, but he escaped, hiding in a safe house. He rebuilt his school, training others to teach. His work helped spark a generation that pushed apartheid to its knees. When I was released in 1990, I met people like Sipho during rallies, their eyes bright with the knowledge they'd preserved. As president in 1994, I pushed for free education, thinking of those secret classrooms. Sipho, by then a school principal, told me we learned freedom in the shadows. so our children could study in the light. This story, dear listeners, is about education's power to defy oppression. Sipho's courage, like our prison school, shows that knowledge can't be chained. If you face barriers today, find your own classroom, however small, and learn. That's Ubuntu, we rise together. And power to the people.